All right, we are live. Hello, Knockout Nation. You're watching Knockout TV show, and I'm your host with the most, Noel Clubb. And welcome to Spanish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave us a comment because we always want to hear from you. That's right, we sure do. And Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. Welcome to viewers watching Knockout TV show around the world. Thank you for joining us. And let's introduce today's super duper knockout panel, shall we? All right, so first off, he's a former Canadian professional boxer, challenged for the WBA heavyweight title back in 2002. Joins live from North Preston, Nova Scotia. Please welcome the one and the only Kirk Chiron Johnson to the show. Welcome,
How you guys
Kirk.
doing? How you guys doing? It's always a
Good,
pleasure to be
man.
on the show.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
Great to see you guys too.
What's new? What's new? What's happening, man? It's been a little while.
Uh, well, just doing what I always do. Spend time with the kids. Running them around every day. I'm like their professional taxi driver. And then now I became a counselor because every day
Hmm,
we're having talks to our kids, me and my wife, trying to make sure that they're doing certain things and making sure that certain things are right. But at the same time, I remember my father, Gary Johnson, which was my coach my whole life. He would always
nice.
tell us that when you become a grown man, you'll realize how hard it is to get the kids to understand exactly what you want them to understand until you get more mature. And
Yeah.
every day I talk to my kids, I realize the same thing that he realized. And I tell my kids, when you guys get older and more mature, you're gonna say, "Yep, Daddy and Mommy told us this too." So it's a process, and
It is. It is.
we all go through the same process. Our parents went through it. We're gonna go through it. Our children are gonna go through it in the next step. You know what I mean? So, but it's
Absolutely.
great. I have no complaints. My kids are healthy and everybody's healthy, so I'm doing fine. That's
Oh,
all I
right
can
on.
say.
Right on. And how
Yes.
old are your kids, by the way? How old are your kids?
My boy, he turned 18 February the 12th, and my girl, she turned 13 December 20th.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Very
she
cool. Very
so
cool.
December 20th was my father's birthday also. So he
Oh,
turned
wow.
yeah, so he turned 74,
Gotcha.
and he looked like he looked 20 years ago. So hopefully I got
Right on.
hopefully I got his genetics and I can
I
look the
think you
way he
do.
looked. Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, you look great too for your age, man. No doubt about that part. Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely the blood. Definitely the blood for sure. Yeah, in the
I
genes
hope
for
so.
sure. Wait, man, it was a pleasure having the show. It was a pleasure. Right back on again. Excellent, excellent.
Oh yeah,
And we,
I'm happy to be on. I mean, I was supposed to go home and be on the show, but I'm actually out at my father-in-law. My wife, she brought the
oh, okay.
computer. She brought the computer here just in case. Because last time when we did that, we got trapped out here. We got trapped on the highway. So this time I said, you know what? If I don't have an hour to get home, we're gonna do it here. So we're doing it here.
Right on, right on. Good backup plan, man. Very good, very good.
Yes.
Once again, pleasure having you back on the show again. Always awesome, man. Always awesome. Oh, and I got to see you. Now we got Richard here on. So officially,
You
folks
see
are.
me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
see you. We can
we
hear you.
see you.
Yeah,
I had a
and
pop.
hear you.
What's up, boys?
Good
What's
day,
going on,
good
Mr.
day, good day,
Richard?
good day.
The,
Well, let's
the
formally introduce
crew's
this
back.
guy over here. And of course, he's a very insightful box predictor and great analyst, by the way, folks. Joins us live on New York City. Please welcome the one, the only, the box prof himself, Mr. Richard Solomon, to the show. Welcome, Richard. How you doing, man?
What's going on? I'm doing okay. The weather here in New York is great. As I
Excellent.
stated on previous shows, for some unexplainable reason, maybe they call it global warming. We don't seem to be getting any sort of snow,
Hmm.
and which is a good thing. I'll take my 50 degrees over 20 and 10 inches of snow on the ground any day of the week.
Absolutely.
And of course, several of my nephews called and they said, Uncle Richie, are we going to go see Creed 3 today? And I told them that that'll have to wait because when the Knockout TV show comes calling,
That's
uh,
right.
Un- Uncle Richie, otherwise known as the boxing prophet,
The
has
prophet
to
himself.
uh, has to go to work, has a job to do.
That's
Every
right.
Sunday at 4 o'clock, the
Serve the
best
public
TV show
here.
in the country. You want your boxing information? You come to the Knockout TV show.
That's right. You sure do. That's right. You got it, Rich. You got it, man. Yeah, same here on Ontario. We had a snowstorm on Monday and then on Friday, but it's been pretty amazing. Back to another beautiful day again today here in Toronto. It's +5. It's very sunny, so it's been quite a winter with extremes, but beautiful overall. There were a couple storms past week, and back to gorgeous weather here on Sunday again. Beautiful sunny day. So great stuff. Very good. All right, moving on before we get carried away here on my last cool guest here on the show. And of course, he's held 6 provincial titles in the province of Ontario. He's 8-time Canadian champion. He won the bronze medal in 96 Commonwealth Games and the quarterfinals 96 World Championships. Please welcome the one, the very only Mr. Steve Beaupre to the show. Welcome, Steve. How you doing?
Glad to be here. Good. I'm doing good. We just we did a ceremony yesterday for that Sweetwater maple water. We did that at Not the Killing Lodge. So just a shout out to Not the Killing Lodge and all the people that work there, and to shout out to where I work, Mamaway Weedo Dopkin primary health care team. So just helping our people. So
right on. Was it email? Was that website again?
What's that?
What was that website? You mentioned a website there?
Well, just that's a Not to Healing Lodge. It's a healing lodge that we did the ceremony at, not too far from here where I used to work. So we know that we did a ceremony. It's kind of like waking up those trees. So that's why it was nice and warm yesterday.
Cool.
So
Good
we
call,
do that
man.
sweet.
Good call.
We do the Sweetwater, that maple syrup, right? So they have a sugar bush, and so what we do is we put through a ceremony, and so right about now we'll do it. It's a 1-day ceremony, and waking up those trees and honoring what that maple syrup can give us, right? So that helped us when we were a long time ago when we were in drought. So that maple water.
Well, thank you for that.
So it was fun to do that last night, and this old man taught us from the mountains. He was 113 when he passed, so that he taught us that ceremony. So I had done it with that old man 7 times before he passed to the spirit world, and then we were able to, because of COVID, we weren't able to do it since I think 2019. So we were able to do it in person. So it was really, really good to do it. So So
very cool. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Steve, for bringing us the nice, wet, warm weather. Much appreciated.
But we did get that. We did get it on Friday because I went to Barrie for something else, and then I came back and it was starting. So we got it that night. There's a few people didn't make it to the ceremony because of the weather in Barrie.
Right.
They were snowed in Barrie, I guess. So we got a little bit here, but not as much as they got in Barrie.
Gotcha. Yeah, pretty much like Southern Ontario got pretty much hammered there on the Friday.
Yeah.
The snowstorm. It was pretty bad actually. About 30 centimeters, pretty close to 30 centimeters.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad. But yeah, we got through it.
I think we only got 10. I think sometimes it'll go either way. Either we'll get it, or they'll get it, or they'll get it, or we won't get it. So
funny how it works, eh? So true though.
Yeah. Snow effect, right? The lake effect, I guess.
Lake effect, exactly. Go Lake Ontario, eh? Good old Lake Ontario. Yeah. Well, boys, thanks for joining us here on the show for today's Super Duper Knockout panel. I'm going to, of course, touch on here really briefly Boxing Ontario live events news. So, of course, our very own Ryan Manelli's been on the show many times out of Burlington, Ontario. That show came on March 25th will be his show at No Excuses Boxing and Fitness, which is located in Burlington, Ontario. He's hosting a live amateur show, Olympic-style boxing show, on March 25th, and they'll be located at 1400 Plains Road East in beautiful Burlington, Ontario, coming up. That'll be next 2 weekends from now. And March 11th, Budo Canada is hosting a show as well. And of course, there's also a Box Ontario live show as well, coming out of North York. And they're at a 38 Apex Road in North York, Ontario. So well done there, guys, with their live shows coming up. And of course, folks, remember, support your local amateur boxers as they can become tomorrow's heroes. They sure can. And they sure do. All right, moving on to quick note here, guys, on Canadian professional boxing news. Canadian professional boxer Justin Mendoza fought Emmanuel Lopez in Mexico City for the WC Intercontinental Welterweight Championship fight on February 25th. Justin went on to win the fight, and he moves on to the top 15 in the world with WC welterweight division, which is a huge step for Canadian. Became a Scarborough, Ontario, and moves up in the world with WC and welterweight division, top 15, which is pretty huge event. So we'll see what happens to him next for his next big fight, which will be happening probably this spring or the summer for Justin Mendoza. So congrats, Justin, on your big fight there, big win. Now we move on to big things, WC, very, very huge. All right, move on to, of course, world boxing news. Topic number one, round number one. Let's talk about guys really quickly here. Jake Paul, that's right, celebrity YouTube boxer. He makes the news here again as he faced off against Tommy Fury, who is the half-brother of Tyson Fury. And they fought last Sunday in Saudi Arabia. The 23-year-old Tommy Fury, who's a half younger brother of Tyson Fury, who would defeat Jake Paul in the matchup last weekend. So I want to ask you guys, though, Richard first, should we take just Jake Paul a little more seriously? Do we deserve more credit in our opinions of fight fans around the world after the performance from last weekend? What do you think? Does Jake Paul deserve more credit in your eyes after last weekend's fight? Over to Richard first.
Well, first, let me say that in terms of scoring the fight, I had it 5-3 for Fury. It was a pretty easy fight to score. It appeared to be a glorified sparring session.
Yeah, it's exhibition.
And to put things in its proper context, forget about Jake Paul for a second.
Yeah.
Tommy Fury had 8 previous fights going into the Jake Paul fight.
Yes.
The record of his previous opponents, I kid you not, 24 wins and 176 losses. These are the guys that Tommy Fury was fighting. I mean, he fought a guy who had 0 wins and 26 losses and 2 draws. Another fighter had 2 wins and 26 losses, and another fighter had 10 wins and 102 losses. You can't make this up.
No, you can't. Write the stuff.
Forget about Jake Paul. We also have to talk about the credentials of Tommy Fury. Going into this fight, if someone had told me that Jake Paul had the better resume, I wouldn't have argued with you. Sure, Jake Paul's first 2 fights were against a former NBA player and a fellow YouTuber, so you discredit those 2 immediately. And Ben Askren, who was a former MMA fighter, was more of a wrestler than a striker, so you might discredit that. But the other 3 fights, he fought Tyrone Woodley, who was a dominant champion in mixed martial arts. Yes, he was past his prime, but at least he was a striker. He was a live body. He had a pulse. And the legendary, iconic Anderson Silva, who still has, a little juice left in his tank, because Anderson Silva beat Julio, excuse me, I'm getting so excited, I'm mumbling here. Anderson Silva legitimately beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a sanctioned boxing match. So obviously Anderson Silva has a little bit of boxing skills, and yet Jake Paul beat him. So going into the fight, it was hard for me to predict, because a lot of people think that Jake Paul's fights are fixed. They're not on the level. Woodley took a dive, whatever. So I basically went out there and I said, if the fight is on the level and Tommy Fury has any boxing skills whatsoever, he'll win the fight by a split decision. And if it's not on the level, Jake Paul he'll fall behind early. He'll be behind on points, and he'll stop Tommy Fury late. And of course, Fury dominated most of the rounds with his jab and combination punching. Jake Paul had his moments, but they were far in between. It seems like he was just loading up for one haymaker at a time, and he just got outboxed. But I certainly have seen worse professional boxers than Jake Paul. I give the man credit. He has no amateur experience. He's taking this very seriously. And in his post-fight interview, he said, I should not be defined by my wins, also define me by my losses. Apparently, there's an immediate rematch clause. And from what I saw yesterday, I read on Twitter, I think it did something like 550 to 600,000 buys on pay-per-view, which, of course, I would say 85 to 90% of those buys were probably from YouTubers and not professional boxing fans. But still,
I agree
the
with that.
fact remains that 550 to 600,000 people watched a boxing match, whether you thought it was bull crap or not. He gets eyes
Yeah,
to
true
watch
enough.
these boxing matches.
A lot of
But I
views.
think that Tyson Fury struggled with Jake Paul. He didn't look that great, and the rematch, Fury should win the rematch, but it's 50-50. I don't think Tyson Fury is that much better than Jake Paul in terms of overall boxing skill. He's living off of his he's living off of his brother's name, and we'll see what happens in the rematch. But the match itself stunk. The undercard fights were a lot better and more entertaining. But I'll get back. I'll let Kirk and Steve, put in their 2 cents.
Chime on
but,
in.
But
Yes.
I'll answer the question: is Jake Paul good for boxing later after the other 2 legends of Canada?
Sure.
Give me their opinion.
Absolutely.
I was already kind of.
Here.
I was waiting for you to already say, should Jake Paul be in that situation? But it was an okay fight. But everything that you say, I totally agree with. I totally agree with. But one thing that you said I didn't catch. You said something about Jake Paul was fighting somebody, and they called it that he took a dive. Who was that took a dive? Richard.
I'm sorry. You say that again?
Who took a dive when they fought Jake Paul? Who was people saying took a dive?
Well, apparently the Anderson Silva knockdown wasn't legitimate.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're saying that the knockdown against Anderson Silva wasn't legitimate, and in the second fight against Tyrone Woodley, if you freeze frame it, he barely landed the punch, and Tyrone Woodley landed face first on the canvas. These are all conspiracy theorists. It is what it is. You're going to get your haters out there.
I mean, my cousin Castile Clayton. We were talking about when he fought Woodley,
Oh, cool.
when he landed face first, and Castile was telling me, he said, "Man, Kirk, of all the punches, he said that was a great overhand right, and if that would have hit a lot of guys at that weight division, that would have probably hurt a lot of guys." And I can't lie, I agree. When I saw the punch, how he turned on the punch, if that had caught a lot of guys, it would have hurt you. I'm not saying it would have knocked everybody out cold, because everybody got different type of chins, but I'm pretty sure you would have made a lot of guys do that wobbly dance. So that
true.
overhand right that he threw was legit. You know what I'm saying? And he's if he fight guys still at this level, he'll be somewhat competitive. But as far as to say that he's a contender, I say he got a couple more fights to go before he's talking about being a contender right now. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, a long ways out, really. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't lie. The hype is kind of good. The hype is good for the sport to a sense. But as far as talking about he's gonna be this super duper guy like Tank Davis and guys like that, no, he's not on that level.
Correct. Yeah,
Right.
you're so true, right? So true.
But I can't lie. Like Richard said, it's fun. It was kind of fun to look at. I can't lie.
Well put.
Yes.
Definitely entertaining, as always.
Yeah.
Definitely entertaining, as always. No doubt.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, how about you, Steve? Does he deserve more credit, Jake Paul, in your opinion?
Nope. I don't give it anything. I don't like it because, you have guys. I train my whole life.
True.
And you know what I mean? I train my whole life to get where I am.
Yeah,
exactly.
And these guys come out of nowhere. No way. I don't give. I can't believe it. I can't. Like, you got boxers that train their whole life.
Yeah.
For that limelight, right? To get a championship, get in. Like even your fighter there. What's his name? Gendoza.
Gendoza.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's training hard. Hard to get a title shot.
That's right.
So I mean, I just don't like it. I think it's gonna do for a couple years, but then it'll fade away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of
This will
course,
be
of
this will
course.
be
Really
08.
flash the pan. Yeah, flash the
Yeah.
pan. I think
So
it's definitely
yeah,
about
it
what.
just it's I don't even watch it. I wouldn't watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
And you
I'm
know,
a true boxing. I
you say
like
you're more.
people
Yeah.
that
You're like me myself.
train,
You're more,
right?
yeah. Yeah. You're more a purist than
So
myself. I hear you. I hear you. And
but
it's true, like you're saying, because it's so true. It's so true. We all know people like Kirk, yourself, and myself. We all know box out there over the years or currently, was like they deserve to be on that stage because they don't have the money to be on that stage. They kind of miss out, which is a real shame because they deserve it more than these folks do. But
Right.
it's the way this world kind of moves. Unfortunately, it's all about the monies and the money and the views. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes.
yeah.
But well said, Steve. Well said. I have to agree with that statement for sure too. Absolutely.
And if I
Yeah.
can, Noel, here's where I disagree with Kirk a little bit. Yes, there are eyes on boxing, I guess per se, but
Mhm.
all of a majority of the fans that tuned into the Jake Paul Fury fight, whoever bought, not like I said before, 90% of those fans
Will not be
are
fans,
YouTube
right?
fans and
Oh
Yeah.
who
yeah, yeah,
follow
of
that.
course, of
They,
course.
they're not going to follow boxing. And the perfect example is
Yeah.
on the undercard of Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. History was made when Badu Jack, I'm sure a fighter we all admire. He's held titles in two different weight classes.
Yeah.
Went all the way up to cruiserweight and stopped Makabu in the 12th and final round, I believe it was, and he became a cruiserweight champion. He if my record, if my memory serves me correctly, and let's face it, the boxing prophet's never wrong. I do believe, with the
Never.
exception with the exception of James Lights Out Tony, Badu Jack now becomes the only man in boxing history to win world titles at super middleweight and cruiserweight. Only James Toney had done that previously.
Good point.
But do you think the people that tuned into the fight to watch Jake Paul on YouTube, do you think they'll watch another Badu Jack fight? No.
No.
Do you think the same people that bought this pay-per-view are going to watch Gervonta Davis against Ryan Garcia? No. They
No.
only bought the fight because it's a social gathering. They're into YouTube. So technically speaking,
It's
yes, a
different
lot of
audience.
people bought the pay-per-view, but it's not really good in boxing. It's not really good for boxing per se because very, very few, if not any of these same people that bought the pay-per-view are going to watch Haney Lomachenko or Tank Garcia. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
You're right
Very
because
small.
you're
Yeah.
right.
Percentage
You're
factor.
right.
I agree.
You're 100% right about that. But when I say is good, you're right. I used the wrong word saying it's good for boxing because the real boxing fan, no, that's not good for boxing. And I can't lie. I didn't see the fight live. I looked at it on YouTube. I look at it on YouTube or whatever. But it's a fantasy for people who like to see delusional things, and
Right on. Right on.
delusional
Well put.
people that are not real boxing fans, they would look at that and believe all the hype. Now,
Yeah.
real boxing fans, I don't worry about that type of hype because I know that's just talking, right? But
Yeah. It's
now
not real.
when you
Yeah. Not
when
real.
you
Yeah.
talk about Garcia and Tank, well, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
I'll believe some of their hype because I know they're real fighters and they're gonna do the real thing or whatever. So when I say it's good for boxing, I didn't mean to use that word. It's good for those people who don't follow boxing at all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
as far as
Truly.
us hardcore boxing fans, like I said, I didn't even watch it that night. I was around to watch it, but I was doing something else. You know what I mean? So yeah.
You
So you're
do.
right. I can't put it with our real boxing though. You're 100% right. We work too hard to say that is about that's good for boxing. You're right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed, guys.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Totally agree.
And Badu Jack, he lost to Jean Pascal way back. Come on.
Well, in all fairness, Steve, that was a very, very controversial fight that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But Badu Jack has paid his dues. He was involved in a lot of close split decision fights that could have gone either way. And that fight was actually very entertaining, by the way. It was a
Mhm.
really good, solid back and forth fight.
Yeah,
And real
it
quickly,
was.
before we get to the next topic, how bad does Canelo Alvarez look? Because originally, before he announced he was going to fight Dimitri Bivol, Canelo said, I'm going to move up all the way to cruiserweight so I can win a title in a different weight class and face Macaboo. And then at the last second, for whatever reason, he
changed. Yeah.
backed out.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was
he
Bivol.
got more money against Bivol. And now
Right.
Badu Jack, who was way past his prime, let's face it. But for
Mhm.
this one night, he reinvented himself and he dominated Macaboo. He's the cruiserweight champion. And all I kept on thinking while I was watching the fight was, oh my God, if Canelo Alvarez was in the ring against Macaboo, it would have been over in 4 rounds.
Oh,
Canelo
agreed.
could have had an easy payday and
Yep.
another title in a different weight class. But
Yeah.
like I said, for whatever reason, he backed out. And now Badu Jack is the cruiserweight champion of the world, and I couldn't be happier. Badu Jack is all that's right with the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
He takes risks. He's a very nice guy in and out of the ring, and I couldn't be more happier for him.
Yeah. No, right on. Right on. No, well said about Macaboo and Canelo. That's going to happen, and as we all know, got sidelined pretty quickly for Bivol to step on in, which I agree. I don't know why he did that because Bivol was like a way tougher opponent. And
Richard, who would be the standouts in that weight division in cruiserweight? Who would you see as the top notch guys in that weight division, cruiserweight?
Well, there aren't any as we speak. It seems that all the cruiserweights now are moving up to heavyweight. That's the problem.
That's the money is.
Yeah, that's what that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Yes, since Alexander Usyk cleaned out the cruiserweight division and moved up to heavyweight, the cruiserweight division seems to be in reflux.
Again. Again.
But we'll see.
Exactly. Well, boys, I think that was a good one on that topic there. So moving on, topic number 2, round number 2. So one of the most anticipated fights of the year is now established. A date's now set up for May 20th for Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko. So set's done deal on May 20th. So 24-year-old Devin Haney, who's 29-0, 15 KOs, will be putting all those unified lightweight belts on the line, on the table against Lomachenko, who is 17-2, 11 KOs on May 20th. So knockout panel, what are your thoughts? Will Devin Haney rise to the occasion and defeat Lomachenko? And will this be Devin Haney's year this year? Over to Mr. King Richard here first. What's your thoughts? Devin Haney.
Well, I think the question should be, does Lomachenko have one last great fight in him? He looked absolutely horrible in his last fight against Jermaine Ortiz, so much so that you can make a strong case that Ortiz beat him. And, let Lomachenko's credentials speak for themselves. Winning the featherweight championship against Gary Russell Jr. in his third fight, dominating the junior lightweight division so much so he made fighters like Rigondeaux and Nicholas Waters quit on their stool, and yet doesn't really get the respect that he deserves. Then he moved up to lightweight, and he seemed to struggle as a lightweight. I've been saying it to this day, even though he won a belt, as a lightweight. I always thought that Lomachenko was too small to be a lightweight. In a perfect world, his best weights were 126 and 130, respectively. And you saw that. You saw him struggle against Jorge Linares. Linares knocked Lomachenko down to the canvas. He had to rise up from a knockdown to stop Linares with a body shot. He also struggled against Luke Campbell. And what do Luke Campbell and Jorge Linares both have in common? They're tall, rangy guys who can box. And that's exactly what Devin Haney is. And if you saw Lomachenko's last fight against Jermaine Ortiz, Devin Haney came into the ring. He looked like a damn light heavyweight compared to Lomachenko. They looked like a 50-pound difference. To Devin Haney's credit, I love the fact that Devin Haney took a substantial pay cut, went to Australia twice, and beat George Kambosos Jr. And I respect that because a lot of fighters wouldn't have done that. But if you look at his body of work, with the exception of Kambosos, he has victories over Joseph Diaz and Jorge Linares. And Linares and Diaz both stunned Devin Haney in that fight. Not to the point where Haney was out on his feet. And I know most professional fighters don't like to get hit, but I contend to this day, and maybe Lomachenko will prove me right, that Devin Haney does not like to get hit. I don't think he's got a great chin, and I think if someone lands correctly, it's lights out for Devin Haney. So it's a style here. I think that Lomachenko, if he could throw back the hands of time for one more night. Obviously Devin Haney's going to be the much, 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 much bigger guy, the
Yeah,
much stronger guy,
yeah,
the quicker guy. He's got a better jab. Probably at this stage of Lomachenko's career, I'd even say Haney has better foot movement. But Lomachenko can hit. I think Lomachenko's got a very unorthodox style. If he could
yeah,
move in, land some combinations, move in, move out. Most of the guys that Devin Haney has fought were guys that brought the fight to him. No one's really tried to
yeah,
outbox Devin Haney. So I think that if Lomachenko boxes and brawls in spots, he can maybe temporarily confuse Devin Haney and make it a more competitive fight than it should be. We'll see how the training camps go. The only thing that worries me a
yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
is that I was under the impression the fight was going to be in Vegas, but all of a sudden Devin Haney thinks that he's like Tyson Fury, and he's demanding that the fight take place in Saudi Arabia because he wants to get paid more, and he's demanding that Lomachenko take substantial pay cuts. And this isn't George Kambosos we're talking about. This is a future first ballot Hall of Famer who's won titles in 3 different weight classes, and
Hmm.
Devin Haney isn't giving Lomachenko the proper respect he deserves. So, in a perfect world, if I had my wish, I know we're supposed to be objective here on the show, but I'm
Ideally.
rooting for Lomachenko to knock out Haney and to have at least one more moment in the sun. I just don't see it happening. I don't think that Haney has the power to stop Lomachenko,
Hmm.
but I think Lomachenko can if you make the fight a lot more competitive than people think.
Hmm.
And hopefully it won't be one of these cases like when just to give an example, when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Terry Norris, and it was the passing
Yeah,
of the torch in brutal fashion
Yeah.
when Norris
yeah.
absolutely beat down Sugar Ray Leonard. We don't want to see
Hmm.
that. Lomachenko's a very classy fighter. He's
Yeah,
great for the sport. He was
it
always on
is.
everyone's pound for pound list. And it's an intriguing fight because if Lomachenko wins, then no one can. Because there are some people that doubt Lomachenko's credentials. I think
Yeah.
that Lomachenko, just like Triple G, is probably one of the most disrespected fighters of the past 25 years. But if Lomachenko could pull out this victory against Devin Haney, no one can doubt him anymore. And if
Hmm.
Devin Haney can beat Lomachenko, I don't know if he gets as much credit as he should because a lot of people will say Lomachenko's past his prime, but Devin Haney does enter some sort of pound for pound list, whether it's top 10, whether it's top 12. If he beats Lomachenko, he's definitely in the discussion for pound for pound. And if
Hmm.
Lomachenko wins, forget about it. He's
Yeah.
solidified. I mean, he already solidified his greatness, but that just adds to the man's legacy, which is already cemented as a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Right on. Right on. How about you, Kirk? What do you think? Devin Haney, will he rise to occasion and defeat Lomo? In your opinion, what do you
I
think?
think I think Devin Haney's going to rise to the occasion and stylistically be able to pull out the fight, but uh, at the same, well, I meant to say Devin Haney. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's going to be. I mean, Lomachenko got a style that
Sure does.
that that everybody. It's an awkward style, a different
You're
style,
awkward.
a unique style, and I can't see him not giving Haney a little bit of some trouble.
Tough time.
Like
Yeah.
in my mind, he's going to give him some trouble. Is he going to win? I would say no, but at the same time, when it comes to boxing, style make fights. He's a quick guy and he hits pretty decent. And like you said, if anybody when people say people don't like to get hit, even if when I was fighting, when you hit me with a soft jab in the face, I didn't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like
That's
I didn't
right.
like no type of punches. And I talked to Evander Holyfield in 1991. Holyfield said, "Yeah, I get hit, but I don't like to get hit at all." So even the toughest guys, and Ray Mercer
That's
said
right.
he don't like to get hit. Even the toughest guys don't like to get hit. So no, nobody likes to get hit. But at the same time, if Lomachenko catch Haney with his best shot, yeah, he can rock him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
possibly stop him because he's that type of combination fighter. But at the
That's right.
same time, if you ask me for a winner, I'm gonna go with Haney right now. But
Gotcha.
anything can happen, and,
Yeah.
and like Richard's saying, if Lomachenko pulls it up from pull one of his greatest fights up, anything can happen. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Those beautiful Cuban slide steps he makes in the ring against strikers and his way moves around the ring. I love his footwork. Amazing footwork. What's your thoughts? Any rise to the occasion? What do we think?
For me, yeah, I think Lomachenko's gonna just outbox him. Haney's gonna come,
Hmm.
and Lomachenko's gonna outbox him. He's gonna have
Wow.
one more in him. The
Right
last
on.
fight, he didn't look good, and a lot of
Yeah.
guys,
Kind
sometimes
of wrote him
some
off.
guys can make you look bad, and that's
Yeah.
one of those fights that
style
he
make
looked bad.
fights. Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
styles
So
make
true.
fights,
So
and
true.
we got to think this is only his 20th fight as a pro.
Yeah,
This is
I know.
and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame easily,
No doubt.
easily.
No doubt.
He had over, I think it was what 300 amateur fights,
Yeah, like
Yes.
375 wins alone. Yeah, it's insane.
So it was insane that what he had his amateur pedigree. But I mean he's he's gonna be ready. His team will have him ready for this fight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
And,
so
and
I
if I
can't
can,
see
what
him
I meant to
losing.
say, Kirk, was that of course no one likes to get hit, but I'm
Yes.
saying
Oh
if
no,
you take
I understand what you're saying. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if you take a look at like Tank Davis has been involved in fights where he took bombs and he just kept on coming forward.
Yeah.
You know,
But there's
when
guys that
Devin
love to
Haney got
get hit
That's right.
that come
That's
back
true.
serious. Like Arturo Gatti. You think of Arturo Gatti,
Yeah.
he was
You know,
dangerous when he got hit.
but
Right?
you know, we
He was still in the fight. Like
Yeah.
he'd get hit and you thought he was
yeah,
out and all of a sudden,
we
boom, he
fought
was
on me
So
and
well,
true.
George
Makes
look,
Getty.
you, yeah.
We fought on the
Gotti's
team
in a
together.
class by himself. But all I meant to say
Oh
was
yeah.
that in those two instances, when Devin Haney got tagged, I thought to myself, "Wow, he's not out on his feet, but he's temporarily stunned, and he
Yep.
looks like a little bit uncomfortable." That's all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
meant to say. I'm hoping that Steve's right, but also
that's
forget
that
about
championship. That
forget
Yeah.
about
championship in
Linares
you, right?
and Lou Campbell.
Exactly. Rising above.
Let's also remember how Lomachenko struggled against Teofimo Lopez. Why? Because of the height, the reach, and the distance
And I think
that
those two, the
Teofimo
shoulder
Lopez
injury there too. I think there's a shoulder injury going
yeah,
on there too.
that he used. Lomachenko's got to get inside that because if I know
Oh yeah.
Devin Haney, I don't think Devin Haney's going to take a calculated risk and go for the knockout. Even though
No.
Lomachenko's
No.
better days are behind him, Devin Haney appears to be sort of like Shakur Stevenson in a sense that it's always safety first. I'm going to win now, look great later, and
Yep.
box the bricks off of this guy. So
Yep.
Lomachenko's going to have to get inside Devin Haney's rangy jab, throw combinations to the body, move in, move out, like Kirk Johnson said, use his awkward style, and
Yep.
hopefully he could land a haymaker and catch Haney and stop him. And
Yep.
listen, I'm not a Haney hater. If Haney wins, I'll
Yep.
give him all the respect he deserves. I'm just such a huge Lomachenko fan that I think it would be
Same with
such
me.
a
Same with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
great story, for boxing. That all that Lomachenko did for the Ukraine. He took off for quite some time to go help his country in need, and
That's
I
right.
just think it would be a great story for Lomachenko and for boxing if he could pull off the upset win.
Yeah.
And then go out and retire a
Yeah.
champion.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I
Right
mean?
on.
Absolutely.
And don't
There's
get me
nothing
wrong.
And I know Richard would agree with that, right, Rich?
Yeah. And then you put a real
Absolutely.
legacy there. Yeah.
I heard some discussions. If Lomachenko was to pull off the upset, would he face Shakur Stevenson? Because Shakur Stevenson, I
Possibility,
believe,
yeah.
is fighting the Japanese fighter Yoshino, and I believe, I just don't want to see Shakur Stevenson fight I'm sorry, I don't want to see Lomachenko face the winner of Shakur Stevenson Yoshino or the winner of Tank Davis Ryan Garcia. If he should beat Devin Haney, he has nothing left to accomplish.
Yep.
Just retire.
Yep.
Retire as
Yep.
champion.
Yep.
Let him vacate the belts, and that's it. It would be a great Cinderella ending to a wonderful
Yep.
professional career.
Beautiful,
Unfortunately, fighters or us, we don't like the Cinderella for other people. Our Cinderella is to do things that nobody is ever gonna match. So if he wins this fight, he's gonna go on to fight the next guy, and he maybe retire after that, but he's not gonna retire at this stage if he wins the fight. I mean, that's just us boxers. We want to do way more than any other fighter ever. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way it is. And a lot of people always say, this is the way. Oh, he should retire and retire undefeated or retire on top of the game. Our on top of the game is, man, maybe we can do this and do that.
One more.
So
One
yeah,
more. One more.
yeah, one more great fight. Yeah, but let me just go back to the Lomachenko winning. Me saying that I figure that Haney's gonna win.
Yeah.
When I say he's gonna win, I'm not giving him a big win. I'm giving it to him by 50 and a half, and Lomachenko 49 and a half. That's how close it is. You know what I mean?
That's close. That's pretty close.
Yeah, I got to give it close like that, because if it comes down to a decision, a close decision, I hate to say it this way, say if it's a close decision that we should give to Lomachenko, I'm not being biased, but let me tell you, I think it's going to go to the other side. I can't lie. I can't lie. I think it's going to go to the other side, because Lomachenko is a very good fighter, a great fighter. But at the same time, if it gets that close, I don't think he's going to have that spin. He fought the other guy that when he lost the title. What's the guy name? You just said was the guy, not Garcia, but you just said
Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, I can't lie. On points, I kind of give Lomachenko the victory by 1 point, but it was the other way around. So he's not going to get a close decision. So if he's going to win, he's going to have to really win.
Really win.
He got to really win. He got to really win this fight.
I completely agree with that assessment. And the powers that be,
that could happen. That could happen because of the crazy judging that's going on now, right, Richard?
Yeah, the judges are insane, and I think that the powers that be desperately want the winner of Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, to face Devin Haney in the worst way. They don't want to see Lomachenko upset the apple cart. So that's just the way boxing is.
Yeah, it's true.
The script line is he's not supposed to upset him. He's supposed to get beat and let the bigger fight go on. And if he wins, they're gonna do everything in their power not to let him win. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Look Holyfield is my favorite fighter of all times, other than Sugar Leonard and Ali back in the day. But when Holyfield fought Lennox Lewis, the first time, they were doing everything in their power to make sure the Holyfield and Tyson fight was going to happen. So they gave it a draw. Come on now. Holyfield won. Holyfield, my favorite fighter, and he's still my favorite fighter today. He won what? 1 round? That was the third round. He didn't win the first round or the second round. He won the third round when he was trying to get Holyfield. Lennox. But other than that, he didn't win no other rounds. The second fight was a better fight.
Yeah.
And look what they did. They gave
the
it a
second
draw.
fight was a lot more competitive. I would say the first fight between Holyfield and Lewis is right up there with Pernell Whitaker, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. And Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad is one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in boxing history.
Yes.
But another intangible, real quickly, with the Haney fight is, I spoke about how Lomachenko throughout his whole career has been too small for the lightweight division. Devin Haney, I don't know how much longer he could stay in the division. I think he's too big for the lightweight division. So if Devin Haney has to starve himself to make weight for this fight against Lomachenko, Lomachenko has a better chance to pull off the upset. So much so that, Devin Haney's father, Bill, has gone out of his way saying, well, for better or for worse, Haney's going to remain lightweight champion for all of 2023? I'm not so sure. Who's to say that if Haney beats Lomachenko, he doesn't face the winner of Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, and he moves up and he challenges the winner of Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez at 140, or fights Regis Prograis for his belt at 140. So this belief that Devin Haney's going to stay at lightweight for all of 2023, I don't buy it yet. I have to see how his body looks against Lomachenko.
Yeah,
Our bodies have a mind of its own when it comes to stuff like that. You can eat perfect, train perfect, but when it's time for your body to go up in weight, I don't care who you are, what you are, your body's going to go up in weight. Or if you make the same weight, you're going to go in that ring weak as anything. Bottom line.
Yeah.
So your body your body at the end of the day will control the situation.
Yep. Those Xboxers know it too well, right? So true, so true. That's a great point though about that, because I agree. I actually agree with that statement big time. Like I can't see Haney sticking around that division, lightweight division, much longer than the next fight or two. Like that's it. I can't see him go much longer. But yeah, well put on that. Well put. Well, guys, we'll touch on really quickly here. Last topic here, really quickly. Topic number 3, round number 3. Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, of course, they overcome their issues with the contract. And they're supposed to be fighting on April 15th on the Zone, as we discussed much actually before. So guys, what do you think? Knockout panel. Could this matchup be a big matchup, bigger than we're talking about here? Is this going to be the big one this year? Is Garcia and Tank? Over to Mr. Solomon there in New York City. What's your take on this quickly here? We got 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a fan point of view, based on the fact that both Garcia and Tank have rabid fan bases, it'll do great on pay-per-view. And you know, let's face it, very few fights do 1 million buys now. It seems like 750 to 800 million buys is the new million in today's generation. I think a fight like Inoue against Fulton, from a hardcore point of view, is a better fight, you know. But in terms of, like I said, they both have rapid fan bases. I don't know if I would call it a super fight, just because Ryan Garcia hasn't really proved himself yet. His only 2 noteworthy victories were against Javier Fortuna and Luke Campbell, whereas Tank Davis, you know, has a solid body of work. You know, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Rolly Romero, Mario Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz, Jose Pedraza. So this is you know, what I think of this fight is, if Tank Davis pulls out the victory, just like Devin Haney, if he beats Lomachenko, Tank is in the discussion for being on the pound for pound list. If Ryan Garcia beats Tank Davis, I can't put him on any pound for pound list. You could say maybe a potential superstar is born if Garcia beats Tank, but you certainly can't say he's one of the best fighters on the planet just with that one, you know, signature victory. Yeah. So I think it's, you know, it's a great fight for the fan base, and I think it's a great action fight.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
I think it's you know, when it was first announced, I loved Tank to win.
It's going to make his career. It's going to make Ryan Garcia's career. I think he's going to win, and it's going to make his career.
Yeah, it'll put the boxing fans on notice. I'm going with Tank on that Ryan Garcia has the potential to be a star. My only concern with Tank is that he's dealing with, you know, these outside issues. You know, he's going to go to jail. He's going to be sentenced in May.
That's
you know, for the hit and run. And so I don't know if his mind is fully on the fight. We'll see.
Great question. Great question.
You know, I've been going more to Ryan Garcia. I've been going more to Ryan Garcia winning this fight because of those things.
If Tank fights the fight, he's gonna win. His mind is gonna be good enough to win the fight. Because when you got bad boys like that, bad boys operate in bad boy situations.
That's right. Step up the plate. Yes.
Aaron Pryor. Bad boys operate great in bad boy situations.
Yes.
Good point. Good point.
Love that guy, man. He had a wonderful upper jab back in the day.
So Kirk is saying Tank wins.
Yeah. And Steve, you're saying again?
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia and Richard, New York, you're saying?
Late knockout. Late knockout.
Like I said, you know, it's tough because you don't know what Tank Davis is mentally, where his mind is at.
But give us some.
And the thing,
Throw it out
Kirk,
there.
that worries me about Tank Davis real quickly is that
We don't
he
have
doesn't
time.
dominate.
We don't have enough time. What's your call?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say he doesn't dominate opponents. You know, he struggles and then rallies with late knockouts. But I'm
And?
hoping Tank wins only because I want him to
Okay.
solidify his status as one of the more elite lightweights in the world. But we'll see.
Right
Who
on.
you
When it was
chosen
first
at the end
announced,
of the
I
day?
love Tank.
So you
But
want
the
Tank
more
as well,
the
right,
days go
Richard?
by, I give Ryan a shot.
Okay.
Okay. You said so. You said Ryan or Tank, there, Richard?
Say this
Richard?
again?
You said Richard, or was it? Or did you say was it Ryan or was it Tank?
Well, no,
At the
I
end of
love Tank at first, but you know, the more the days go by,
What's the answer?
Okay. Well,
you know what? I'll
You
say
got seconds left. What's the answer?
if you're putting me on the spot now,
Yep,
on the
spot.
all of these picks are subject to change, you know, because we
Of course.
have a
What's
month
your
or
pick right
so.
now? What's your pick right
I'll
now?
say Tank by a come from behind 10th
Okay.
round TKO.
Okay.
Down
Ooh,
on
nice.
points.
All right,
He
cool.
So
rallies
you
and
with
wins.
me then? Okay.
Right on. Kirk has Tank too.
Yeah.
And Steve
And I
has
have
Tank.
Ryan Garcia
You
by
got
late
Garcia over there.
late
I'm
knockout,
picking Tank.
11
So
or 12.
let's see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It's April 15th. We'll see who got it right, eh?
Yeah.
All right on, guys.
The time goes too quick on this show.
Yeah, I know. It just flies
For
by.
sure.
It always flies
Just
by.
flies.
And after hearing Richard talk, I mean, Richard is a prophet, and it's like I'm learning from him, and then the time goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes it happens. It happens
Yeah.
sometimes. But hey, guys,
Well,
real pleasure.
we learn from each other.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. But I
We
love
sure
hearing
do.
you speak, though.
Well, thank
Well, hey,
you. I
guys.
appreciate it. That
Well,
means
right
a lot
on.
coming from my favorite Canadian heavyweight of all time.
Oh,
Thank
right
you.
on. Right on.
So you guys take care, and it's a pleasure as always. Neil,
Yeah, right on.
Noel, always get me back on whenever you
I
can.
will, man.
Yes,
I was
sir.
bugging you a
Yes,
lot
sir.
as always.
You take care, Steve. Steve, you
Right
take
on.
care.
So thanks
Thank
so much.
you,
Thanks,
Kirk.
guys, for the show here. So remember, folks, check out Zynga TV for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Hey, man, love it. Okay, guys, real soon. Thanks again. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Steve. Thanks, Kirk. Thank Richard. Take care.
All right.
boys.
Take